Hey, hi, a mini art talk. We'll call it that, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so this is going to be a talk, discussion between you and I.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's Kristen. I'm David with DavidAustinGallery.com, and you may know us from our live shows with a studio audience occasionally. Anyway, during the live today, an interesting question came from one of our longtime um,
Followers.
listeners, long-time listeners, first-time caller. No,
No, she calls all the
she
time.
talks all the time. So, and we really appreciate her. And so we're just gonna wander around the studio because she had a really good question. If you haven't checked out now, stay tuned because she had a good question. And we get this question a lot, but for some reason it struck me today more than other days. And maybe because we're struggling, we're having troubles too. You know, art sales are kind of down, the stocks have been down, the world issues, all this is playing into people's income and their nervousness. And
Yeah.
we have a handful of people that have said they want to buy big paintings, but they're worried about it. But anyway, that's not why we're here, because she had a question, right?
Yes, she did.
All right, tell me again what it was, and let's
She
just
wants to know how to handle people who come up to her art when she's displaying it and really just want to niggle her until she admits that it is meaningless because they don't understand abstract art.
you know,
And they're just bringing a lot of hate to her artwork.
negativity.
Yeah,
bringing
negativity. And
to it, yeah.
so how do you handle that?
Well, the first thing you said something I thought very appropriate is what'd you say? Don't let other people's pain or something like that.
You don't have to pick up other people's pain and make it yours.
Yeah. So, and that goes, it's a broader, so that's where you're going to start from, is that. We just did a TikTok duo kind of along that same line too, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
About the haters. There's always going to be people that let me back up by saying it is so easy to express one's hate, bigotry, racism, your whatever kind of opinion right now because of social media. It's really easy to do that. And I don't think that's what those platforms should be about. Yeah, it should be about discourse, conversations and things. But we all need to support each other. The more of this negative kind of approach to things, the more it's going to affect all of our environments around us. It affects everybody, whether you're the antagonist or protagonist.
Yeah, and I think maybe what she was trying to get at is in person it hurts more.
In person, it does.
And in person, people have been incredibly rude.
What astonishes me is that that people will still have the audacity to be very aggressive in person when it comes to art. Art is a subjective opinion, regardless. And if everybody can just start from that standpoint and go, okay, not everybody agrees this is art or this is art. This is an old question. This doesn't pertain really to the situation. It's more, she's looking at situationally, how do I handle somebody being really negative and aggressive about my art and asking for my philosophy? First, make sure you understand why you're making your art. Think about that. We used to do that in school. That was one of our biggest things, and we did it all the way through the course. They always challenged us. Why are you making that? For what's your reason for it?
Yeah.
Why I like it? Well, why do you like it? And you don't have to explain that stuff to somebody else, but it's good exercise to look within yourself and figure out, why do I like that line? Why is this reference to Keith Haring important to me? Those kinds of things are the stuff that you need to look inside and figure out and write it down. Write out your artist statement. Look, I used air quotes. So that's a place to start. Now, you don't even have to tell somebody that philosophy.
I wouldn't.
You don't want to. You don't have. Now, if you're doing a show, they often ask for an artist statement, so you're going to have to have it eventually. You're just going to have it. So that's number one. But the second approach is, when you are challenged by somebody like that, one way to do is to turn it around on them and say, okay, well, what do you see in the piece? What is your, because it's an audience participatory.
What is your emotional reaction to this artwork?
Yeah, explain to me what it is, and then you've opened it up in a nicer way, a dialogue, because we have to remove our ego from it as an artist.
Yeah.
Because the minute we bring our ego into it, then the clashing starts to happen, because now you're fighting one ego against another ego, and you're both coming from places of conflict, and that's not how you create conversation and discourse and the potential for learning, both for you and for the person that is challenging your artwork. I've been an abstract artist. I was professionally trained, traditionally trained. I knew drawing and painting and all that, ceramics and sculpture. It was all traditionally based. First, you learned your physical skills, and then you expand on it, and you were able to abstract. I got off course. Bring me back, my love.
I think that the basis needs to be you have to have an inner confidence and trust in your work.
Yeah.
And then you also have to realize that you don't have to carry their feelings with you. And if you have those two things, and you just approach them with, how does it make you feel? Thank you so much kindly for your opinion, and just don't let them get under your skin, because what they're looking to do is to annoy you. They want a reaction out of you.
Potentially, some people operate. We had a neighbor like this back in Michigan. Made me crazy, particularly. He was very adept at punching my buttons and getting me all wound up.
Yeah.
And I consider myself actually to be relatively calm, at least within our family, on my dad's side. But
don't rise to that.
But aside from that, somebody might honestly want to know. And if that's the case, don't shut off that, because you could have a convert, you could have a buyer. This has happened to us.
Oh, it has.
At an art show, somebody said, I don't normally buy. Can you tell me about this piece? I don't normally buy abstracts. She bought the piece after she talked to me. So if you approach it from a conversational aspect and like, okay, what do you normally consider art? That's another avenue. What is your art? You're checking you. How much time do we have?
No, you've got lots of time.
Okay,
My
good.
phone buzzed. I don't know why.
Because this is a big conversation. That's why I couldn't really answer it in the live, and I'm not even sure there is a set answer. There isn't, because it's situational. Whatever you're experiencing, that feedback from this other person, that's what you need to build
a point,
on.
But I think if every conversation you start, when they start it with you, if you come from a place of positivity and confidence,
oh yeah, absolutely,
that has to be step one.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And then from there, you can discover if they're a buyer or if they're just trying to poke a bee's nest.
Yeah, and if they are, then you go, well, what's art for you? Tell me what's your favorite artist? What do you consider art? So now you've turned it on them. It's their responsibility now to tell me, I really don't. This isn't art. This is terrible. A 4-year-old could do it. Well, as a matter of fact, the 4-year-old did do this. He painted it with me. So you're very observant, sir. Another example. This is a very Basquiat sort of reference. And here we have a beautiful, and some people will respond to landscapes that are abstract because it's easier for them to grasp, because landscape really is pretty abstract, right? But the minute you add a human into it, and you take that human and you make a mess of it, this is like a Basquiat influenced, inspired piece that my son and I did together. We both painted this. I love painting with him. He's 4.5 years old. We paint together. This is amazing. But how many people are going to get it? I don't know. He's in right now, Basquiat. He's long passed away, but Donna and he were buddies and things like that. And that helps if you get someone to do that. But approach it from the standpoint, if they're going to be problematic, turn it around and then find a way to extricate yourself from the conversation at some point. In a graceful way. You're leaving them with a more positive thing than if you rise and you go get all upset and attack them. Now, that being said, there are artists that make their living out of that conflict. They like that conflict.
Yeah.
There are people, I'm not that person. Or maybe I should phrase, I don't want to be that person. If you don't want to be that person, that's my suggestion to do it. Shabana, we're going to tag you in this.
Yes.
I looked at your account today again. Every so often I check in with people, particularly when you guys comment on our stuff. And I like to see what you're up to. And you have made great progress. Don't let any haters get you down. But remember, people really want to know about your art too. So you need to actually tell them about your art. And that's why I say, think about it. Everybody out there, if you're an artist type, figure it out. If you're not an artist type and you're a collector, figure it out. Why are you collecting? What do you like? Why do you like that?
Yeah, I think the why is the more important question.
Why do you like that?
Yeah.
That has stuck with me since university at Northern Michigan University I went to. We had Richard Gorski. Richard Gorski was great. Marvin Zender was my ceramics professor. Painting, he did some painting too, drawing. And he did also value and form class with him. Bill Leet, who was part of the physical arts and woodworking and things, amazing. So the team back then in the late 80s, early 90s for me was phenomenal. John Hubbard, I can't forget you, John, if you're watching. He was the painting instructor. I was a terrible painter then. I got a little better. I can't remember her name, the photography instructor. Anyway, but you don't necessarily need to have formal education to be an artist. The number one thing is the hashtag create without fear. You just get your butt in the seat and you start making stuff, and then you determine who you're making it for.
Yes.
Is it that mean guy that's talking to you at the reception? Are you making it for him? Probably not. He might not be your audience, but you might convert him. It's a possibility if you create meaningful dialogue with them, I think.
Yeah.
And we've done that online even. You know,
several times.
Yeah. You know, sometimes they just don't comment again because they're not getting a rise out of you on your social media platform.
Yeah. They don't like it when you don't argue.
Yeah, if you don't argue, then they don't get their high off of it, whatever the high is that they're getting from being a jerk. And I'm sure this video will create some of those types of responses. They usually do, but it is important for us as artists to talk about this and to stick together and to realize you are supported out here, and what you do is meaningful. Are you going to make a living at it? I don't know. I'm still trying to make a living at it.
I would also recommend too, if you're really uncomfortable with the whole concept of dealing with this kind of confrontation or discussion, do some role playing with people you trust in your inner circle.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, be the jerk, have somebody be the jerk, and then make you respond over and over again until you have a few initial scripts, so that when your heart is racing, you have an automatic muscle memory of a place to go.
God, the adrenaline kicks in. It's
because it's so hard to control yourself. But if you are prepared and ready and confident, so I would recommend some role playing.
That's a good way to approach it too.
Yeah, I wish they would do that in school.
I don't know, some might be doing it. I don't know. In our school, I think some of them did. I don't remember it in mine, but that mine was 25 years ago. The lessons class.
Yeah, it's different to defend your art in front of a classroom full of other artists versus defending your art to a buyer.
I would often play a devil's advocate in the class just because I had a little more experience professionally when I went in, just because I had been doing work and getting paid for it before I went to college. I mean, from an early age, and so I had some experience in dealing with that. I worked graphic design particularly. You're always working with design by committee there. But anyway, that's that. I appreciate you checking in with us. I didn't have anything extra. I just wanted to kind of address it a little more. If somebody has more questions or specific situations, feel free to comment in the comment section.
Yeah.
Or if it's too sensitive, please DM us. We'll get to you as soon as we can, direct message.
Or you can even make a video in response to our video.
Yeah, you could do that. I think it's important to have a dialogue for all of us. We have a couple of different support groups that we participate in, and some of us are very active in that as far as artists go. So be well, everybody. Remember, create without fear. You can do it. I believe in you. We'll see you soon at the next live. Big live next week. By the way, quick plug, next week, big live. 6 other abstract artists here in the studio, or outdoors even better, plein air. And we're going to be doing kind of a lesson, give and take off. It is going to be so much fun. We'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.